There's something no one's telling you about why you feel lost. It's not your job. It's not your bank account. It's not that you're somehow less than everyone else around you. It's something much deeper than that, and it goes all the way back to where and when you grew up. If you were born between 1985 and 1995, I need you to stick around until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share is going to completely change the way you see yourself, and I genuinely mean that. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever looked around and felt like everyone else has got it sorted, and you're still waiting for real life to actually begin? Like there was some handbook handed out and yours got lost in the mail. Like everyone received instructions on how to be a proper adult, and yours just never showed up. If that sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're not alone, and you are absolutely not the problem. You're a 90s kid, and there's a very specific reason your generation is living through a quiet crisis that almost nobody is talking about openly. Today we're going to break it all down, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to understand something about yourself that you've been trying to put into words for years. Right, let's start here. Think about the world you were raised in. The rules were dead simple. Study hard, get good marks, land a stable job, settle down, buy a house. Done. That was success. Full stop. Your parents lived it, your teachers believed it, and you absorbed it like it was gospel. I remember riding my bike around the neighborhood until it got dark, without a single existential worry in my head. The world felt simple, predictable, safe. There was a clear path, just follow it, and you'd end up where you wanted to be. But then something happened. The path disappeared. The economy shifted. Lifelong careers turned into short-term contracts. Houses that used to cost 3 years' salary now cost 15. Social media showed up and suddenly everyone had to be their own personal brand. And artificial intelligence is now replacing jobs that were supposed to be bulletproof. And you, someone who was trained for a stable, predictable world, suddenly found yourself in one that completely reinvents itself every 6 months. The problem isn't that you failed to adapt. The problem is that nobody told you adaptation was going to be the whole game. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and maybe a little confronting. There's something us 90s kids do that's quietly working against us. Something we don't even realize we're doing. Nostalgia. And I'm not talking about rewatching old cartoons on a Sunday afternoon. I mean a deep, almost aching longing for a time when everything felt easier. How many times have you caught yourself thinking the 90s were just better? Yeah, me too. But here's the trap. When we spend our lives looking backwards, we can't move forwards. Nostalgia can be a comfort, or it can become a cage. And for a lot of us, it quietly became a cage we didn't even know we were sitting in. Our brains are constantly comparing the messy, uncertain present against that perfect golden past we've built up in our heads, and the present loses every single time. Research found something fascinating. Nostalgia, when it's used as an escape from the present, is directly linked to higher levels of anxiety and a deeper sense of purposelessness. The more we live in the past, the more lost we feel today. But hang on, because there's a twist to this that completely flips the whole thing on its head, and I'll get to it in just a moment. First, there's one more thing nobody's talking about. We're the first generation that lived both eras, the analog world and the digital one. We grew up without the internet, and then the internet grew up alongside us. That sounds pretty cool, and in some ways it is. But it also means something complicated. We don't fully belong to either world. People over 50 don't get social media. People under 25 never knew a world without it. And us? We remember both. And sometimes we genuinely don't know which one we belong to. That feeling of being stuck between two worlds isn't anxiety without cause. It's a real generational identity crisis. Your brain was shaped by one reality, and now it's living in a completely different one. It's like trying to run new software on an old system. Sometimes it works fine, sometimes it just freezes. And when life freezes, most people assume the problem is them, that they're not smart enough, driven enough, disciplined enough, when really it's a compatibility issue, not a capability one. All right, remember that twist I promised you? Here it is. Nostalgia isn't the problem. What you feel when you think back on the 90s isn't something to push through or get over. It's information. When you miss the 90s, you're not actually missing the mixtapes or the Saturday morning cartoons. You're missing something far more specific. Simplicity, real community, time without screens, mates you could actually sit with, creative boredom. You're missing values, not objects. And here's the thing that changes everything. Those values didn't go anywhere. They just changed shape. Simplicity is still possible. Community still exists. Time away from screens is a choice you can make today. The 90s kids who are genuinely thriving right now aren't the ones who forgot where they came from. They're the ones who took the best of that analog world and applied it with real intention to this digital one. They're not stuck in the past. They didn't get swallowed by the present either. They found the middle ground. And think about this. You have something no younger kid has. You have the memory of a world where connection was real, where boredom sparked creativity, where patience was a skill, not a personality flaw. That's not baggage. That's a serious edge in a world that's forgotten how to genuinely connect. So why do 90s kids feel lost today? Because we were trained for a world that no longer exists. Because we're caught between two eras without fully belonging to either. Because we mistook nostalgia for weakness, when really it's a map pointing us toward what actually matters. But mostly because nobody told us this chaos was normal, that we weren't failing, that we were right in the middle of a transition no generation before us had ever faced quite like this. And now you know. So here's the question I'll leave you with. What part of the world you're missing can you actually bring into the one you're living in today? Not as an escape, as fuel. If this video hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because there are heaps of people out there feeling exactly this way and thinking they're completely on their own.